Unknown. Unknown.
Yo, yo. Oh, check it out, man. I keep doing this, getting too much into comics, forgetting it's time for the questionnaire. Yeah, check it out, right? And man, all I know is my boy Hardaway's on the run. Because Hardaway, you want to tell him what happened last time?
Look, the claw came in and took my sound because I was speaking too much truth.
All I know is I could have swore Chadwick Boseman like killed that dude before, rest in peace, before he so sadly passed. Man, I don't know how he reappeared, but it is the Marvel Universe, and what you're gonna do? People pop up, but I'm visually stoked. Yeah, for today's episode, because for today, yeah, we've got JaVon Stokes in the house. How you doing, man?
What's good, guys? What's good, guys? Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by with COVID. I don't know why everybody's getting like knocked out by some. I got Claw kicking my other host's ass over here. I've got you just getting knocked out by the COVID. I didn't. That sounded wrong, but
On the run, on the
shoot,
run.
Nah, it's
yeah.
okay. It didn't hit me. It hit me. It hit me hard, but it was quick. So
Mm,
I'm recovering now.
That's
so
good.
you
That's
didn't get
good.
the you didn't get that
Hopefully, I get my
long-winded
voice
version
back.
then. Yeah, because I know there's one version of that COVID man that just goes. Pardon me, I'm sweating because I swear I got the character you created in the room as hot as it is over here on a different note, right?
Got that
But we're gonna
heat.
get in. We're gonna get into that in a minute, right?
Okay.
Because the first thing I want to know, whoo, I swear he is in the room, man. You see this sweat on me, y'all? Uh, if you're watching anyways, if you just listen and you don't, that's probably better because you don't need to see me sweat myself to death. But first thing I want to know, man, is what got you in to doing all this? What made you want to create comics? What made you want to get into the graphic design and just art in general?
So excuse me. So my mother was an artist. She was a painter. She did a lot of different type of art. She taught art as well. So my mom being my biggest cheerleader in the world, and I'm her biggest fan. Of course, I got to follow her.
Hmm.
But comic books in general, comics is kind of how I kind of not how I learned to read, but how my reading capability was expanded. My vocabulary was expanded. Everything. My mom used to. I would read a book, and then I read a comic book, and then I would say, "What's this word?" And then she would go look it up in a dictionary. And so I'd be in the dictionary every 2 seconds reading a comic book, and so my vocabulary expanded, and so I got better at reading as time went on. And I've always loved them. I've loved them. They're literally my first love. My second love, other than my mom, I should say. And you know, I used to make I used to make draw comic book, make up my own characters, staple it together, show everybody around.
That is, I think, the dopest answer I've got. And
Yeah,
I say that personally because look, I am the Wade Wilson of hip hop, man. Like flat out.
Okay,
I'm the unknown
okay,
fact. I'm the Wade Wilson of hip hop. I don't care what anybody
that's
says.
interesting.
There is no other. I'm the Wade Wilson of hip hop. My greatest influence as an MC is a very unusual answer because it's Stan Lee. And I say that because that man created a universe that I read a great deal of, and it expanded the absolute crap out of my vocabulary. You know what I mean? It's what allows me to tell the stories that I do lyrically, as well as gives me the vocabulary to reach into. So that's awesome, Stokes. I love that answer. I just gotta say.
Yeah, and I'd always wanted to do comic books, but when I went to college, excuse me, I ended up doing 3D animation.
Ooh, that's
And
a
so I
well.
did. Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Well, no,
No, I was just
I
gonna.
was I was just curious. We all just gonna interrupt each other. Whatever. It's the
That's all right.
questionnaire.
That's all right.
A, it's a quest, right? Sometimes there are things that happen. Ain't y'all ever watched Lord of the Rings? You know what I mean? But I'm just curious, man. With you doing 3D animation, have you ever thought of taking the character that we're going to get into in depth in a while and trying to make a 3D movie, like a 3D animation movie?
Absolutely. That's it's on the docket. It's definitely on the docket.
Nice.
Ooh.
But
Nice.
right now, the comic is the focus for me.
All right. Well, tell us about that comic. Let us hear a little bit about it.
Let's hear about that heat that I'm experiencing right now. If y'all can see it. Woo.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna try and say this without dying. So y'all bear with me.
Yep.
Heat is kind of about like your dreams realized, but they turn into nightmares sometimes. It's a metaphor for your 20s, in which everyone, when we're in our 20s, we're trying to figure out what we want to do in life, and we have no idea, and we fumble around, and then we figure it out, and we're like, okay, life's supposed to be easy, and that's when we realize that's when it really starts. And he, real name Cameron Clark.
Well, real quick, how did
COVID
I
is a-
not
is
notice?
a
How did
beast,
I not
bro.
notice that me and that character share the same last name?
I have no idea.
I didn't notice that until right now, which is funny because I just like not very shortly before that I went all over your website and read everything that was available. How that
Yeah,
escaped my mind. It shows you how distracted I am. I've been potty training a 3-year-old today.
that's okay.
I'm gonna blame the 3-year-old. Yeah.
I got lucky. My 3-year-old potty trained himself.
Mine did too. Mine
Oh,
did
you can
too.
both.
Don't.
I have to stop because this is the show where we're not supposed to go off on a and
Tangent.
that's the shows with so yeah
Yes. We're all friendly here and
pussy
whatnot.
Stoked,
It
my bad.
happens.
Yeah, it's been rough, man. My boy don't like the toilet. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mine didn't like it at 2. I had to
Mine
deal
had
with.
no problem. He had no problem with it. Once he had to stop being wet on his own, he was all about it. He's a pro now. He's a pro.
Well, let right back into that. That's something that you obviously didn't like being wet. Your character, man, is you've given him extraordinary powers. I'm honestly I'm not exactly sure what the limit, but he looks very like let's just ask a question. If he had to face Superman, you think he's got a chance?
Everybody always does this. Every Comic Con I do, everybody always does. That's all right. I'll do it. No, those
I
are
could
your
have been an
skills, son.
a-hole and said Goku.
That's all right. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, you're
You're
good,
fine.
So
man. COVID sucks.
he controls light, heat, and fire. So, in my mind, he literally can just pull the solar energy out of Superman. Game over.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay. So
that made me so happy on the inside. I don't like Superman personally. All right, Superman's my least favorite,
excuse me.
and I'm
Really?
gonna
I
talk
love
to you.
Superman.
I cannot stand Superman. He is my least favorite character of all time. And
Why?
this,
Let's hear your answer first, Hardaway. I'll give my answer second because I know exactly why I hate
Why?
Superman.
I'm very interested. Why?
oh, all right. The writers for Superman have declared that if Superman comes up against an adversary that is stronger than him, or that he believes is stronger than him, because they're really not. No one is ever actually stronger than Superman. He will create a superpower to defend and or attack against said enemy, an entity, which means there is nothing stopping Superman from developing a power that keeps kryptonite from even affecting him. That means that every time he runs, sorry
Yeah,
about
like
that. I
Claw. It's
almost,
cool, man. What, Claw hit your car or something?
yeah, some things are going on.
Dude.
But
Man, that's it. We're good, man. Just keep running. We got this show.
oh yeah, no, we got this. We got this. But the main thing is that Superman used to have interesting limits. He used to be an actual interesting character. Once they decided to take his limits away and make it so he could just start developing superpowers out of nowhere and whatnot, it turned him into a joke character. And it turned him into a character that I can't even remotely respect. Not only that, I'm not a big fan of the Boy Scout mentality, um, especially since it's very naive.
His
Superman,
answer was way more. Oh, are you good, bro? My
no,
bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, Superman is just a very naive character, and he wants to push his form of justice around, which is cool to an extent. But the only reason why it's crap is because there's literally no one that can fight him. Zatanna can take him out with a whisper, with a freaking whisper, because he has no defense against magic. Almost any magic person can kill Superman easily. It shouldn't be any issue, except for the sheer fact that the man can run as fast as Flash.
I feel like
All right. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. You go ahead. You go. Go ahead.
Well, I
I'll
was just
wait.
gonna say, man, he had a way more long-winded answer I do. My personal opinion of Superman is you can in no way, shape, or form give anybody that form of power and them not have some kind of power trip. Like that's all that it is, man. There's like that's why I prefer the dude's dad from Invincible, whose name escapes me, or Homelander from The Boy.
Omni-Man.
Omni-Man.
Yeah, Omni-Man or Homelander. You know what I'm saying? I think these are greater examples of someone with that power level. You would turn to the point where you would be like, oh, it's not my way. It's not my way. Okay, look, I'm gonna flick my finger if you say that again. And that's the end of the conversation, because either you say that again and they flick their finger and then they show what an evil, vindictive dictator that they are, or you shut up and agree and they are the dictator. It's not, there is no line there. And I don't think the fact that they show him with such a good moral compass, no, you would lose that after a while. I think Brightburn is another good example of that. Like, are you serious? You imagine taking someone like that through puberty that could lift a car, that has lasers shooting out of their eyes? You're gonna try and potty train someone to
Now, hold on. No, see,
you're gonna get your head vaporized.
See, no, that's the thing. I'm not going to sit there and say that that's going to be the case for everybody with that type of superpower, because that won't be. The reason why Unknown thinks that way is because when he
absolute power corrupts absolutely.
and that's not necessarily true at all. That has been proven throughout history multiple times. The But besides that whole crazy old debate, I understand.
Besides that, let's let the guests talk a little, because we've
Yes, I'm sorry.
10 minutes.
That's all right. That's okay. Now you good. You good. I'm recovering my throat so I can talk. So I like Superman because it's not so much that he's a Boy Scout. He's an ideal that we should be striving to, right? Like, I never look at the Superman character as being perfect, and I don't really care for Superman stories that are all like, who can beat Superman, yada yada yada. Like, my favorite Superman stories are, I love Kingdom Come.
That's a good one.
I love, but that book showed the frailty behind Superman. That understanding that it's not so much about power corrupting, it's about having all the power and understanding that you can't fix everything. I actually talk about that in one of my Heat books, one of my Heat graphic novels, Heat the Black Flame. The best Superman stories are ones that show that it doesn't matter. He has a long litany of superpowers, but he can't fix everything. Another great Superman book, Superman's Secret Identity. Great book by Kurt Busiek and Stuart Immonen. I always butcher his name. Grant Morrison does a great Superman in his JLA run. Awesome Superman. But, like, he's not supposed to be what we are. He's supposed to be what we should be trying to be. And so, like, I understand, the power corrupts thing. Excuse me. And some people like that. Like, I'm here or there with it. Um, I think some stories, like, this, too many people are rushing to tell what if Superman was evil. Like, I mean, you can only tell that story so many times. Like, we
But
lose.
real quick,
Okay, great.
yo, Stokes, Garth Ennis did it best. I'm sorry. Homelander?
No, I don't think he did it best.
Really? Who you think?
Mark
Okay,
Waid did it best.
with
Irredeemable.
I have
Go check it
not
out.
read that. I had to think.
Go check it out.
I'll be
Irredeemable.
wrong.
That's the best version.
I've heard of it, but I have not read it.
Superman going bad. Don't get me wrong. I love Homelander. I just saw Garth Ennis like last weekend. He was here at a Comic-Con. I paid my respect to him there. So I love Homelander. I think Homelander was in the comics a little more of a parody. Just a little more of a parody.
Oh,
but
yeah,
like
for sure.
Irredeemable digs into. It's not just like there's deep, like it digs into like the deep-seated insecurities that a character of that power level could have.
See, my favorite.
But like I said, I like good guys. Like I have this argument with the other guys on my podcast. Like I like good guys. Like I like the anti-heroes too, but I like good guys.
All right, so that's why I like Jupiter Rising. That's why I'm a big fan of Jupiter Rising, because
I never got around to that one.
if you get a chance, read that one. The artwork is astounding. I just like the almost oil painting style. But the main thing is that the story is really, really deep. All right, there's a guy. He's Superman. He's pretty much Superman. He saves the day on a regular basis. He does all sorts of stuff, and he's the strongest person they got. But his wife divorces him. He goes through all. He's too perfect. You know what I'm saying? So he goes through a whole slew of things, and it starts to break down the character. He doesn't change morale. Like his morality doesn't change, but you can see the wear and tear upon his being and his soul. He stops shaving. He starts getting more grizzled. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that's why
I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
Hell yeah. Can I say though, man? We was talking about Garth Ennis, right? And I'm curious, man. You obviously with your book, you do everything, which I feel like that might. That seems like a lot, bro. But I just want to know, if as an artist, right? Actually, I'm gonna flip this question a couple ways because you do a couple things. But so we're gonna start with artists though, or as an artist, only because we brought up Garth Ennis. If you could choose a writer in the industry, man, and I mean like handpick, no one dead. I ain't playing that game, right? They can't be under 6 foot or smoked or whatever. I don't care however they went out, right? But you can pick one to work with to make their story come alive on the page, man. Who would you pick, Stokes?
Oh, that's so hard.
Yeah, I like to ask hard questions, bro. No easy balls.
Yeah, I know.
The easy balls were the questions that were beforehand.
It would be between two guys. Mark Waid and Christopher Priest.
The fact that name is not known to me annoys me a little bit.
Oh, Black Panther.
Oh, never mind. I read,
everything you loved about the movie was Christopher Priest, pretty much.
I used to have like 12 long boxes, and I don't anymore. Things happened in life, and we'll just whatever. I'm gaining up my collection of graphic novels to, get myself back into it.
One thing you'll learn real quick is I have photographic memory when it comes to comic books.
Okay.
It's such a useless ability, but
man, look, as much as I know about comics, I understand. Like, I'm really good with the stories. Like, I could sit here and tell you so many stories of like everything I've read, pretty much. But like, when I was younger, the artists and the writers, like that just kind of escaped. Like it wasn't a focal point until like way later on in life, and then I started to recognize the talent that was behind the book as opposed to just the books and the characters and the stories.
See, I was the opposite because I was an artist.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was a writer. I was like, okay, who's this? Okay, so I'm very good at. I can see a drawing. For the most part, I could probably tell you who the artist is. I'm pretty good at it.
Oh wow.
I mean, I'm not like 100%, but I could say.
That would be hard.
I would say about. I give myself 75%.
Oh. See, I can
75%.
point. If it's Alex Ross, I could be like, yeah, that's Alex Ross. But if you're comic books and you can't point out Alex Ross's art, I think it's kind of problematic. But that's a whole other story. But Hardaway, I see you sustained an injury getting away from claw on your arm. I think that's kind of funny. But back to you, Stokes. Let's flip that question, right?
Okay.
So let's say you're writing something, right? And you could handpick any artist from the industry, right? I kind of want to say no Ross, because I feel like that's the easy answer. I'll be real honest.
God, the easy answer passed away a few months ago.
Who?
George Perez.
Oh, okay. So, but I know that.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, may rest in peace. But
right now,
he should have came on a few months earlier, I guess.
I know. Right now, Jesus.
Oh, I like it when it's so hard. That sounded terrible.
Phrase
my
it.
collection. I'm going over names in my mind. This is really difficult. Oh man. I'll say this. Just because he's a legend, he doesn't get enough credit and respect. Him and his brother really don't get enough credit for what they are and how good they've been over a long period of time. I've always loved Andy Kubert, and I've always wanted to work with him.
That is a phenomenal answer.
I mean, he came in and followed Jim Lee.
Yeah, on the X-Men. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Was damn good.
Yeah, okay. Which man, thanks for setting up Hardaway. Not just trying to keep his questions, but he's like setting them up, and you ain't got his answers in front of you because you're having to run from claw. I printed them out. You know what I mean? So
No. Look, there's one question.
No one's attacked me yet.
There's one question.
Real quick. Hey, I promise, dude. You get to that next. But based on what Stokes just said, I gotta know then. What made the X-Men your favorite? Well, because unless it's about the X-Men, is it about the X-Men?
All right, whatever.
All right, I'm trying to just get to it next, man.
Go ahead. I ain't even mad. I'm dodging stuff right now, bro.
All right, dude, tell him to stop shooting sonic waves at you. Chisel P. Close, chill out. Yeah. But since it went from Jim Lee, and that's obviously something people love to work with, is that something that really affected your moving more?
Oh no! Hold on. Pause for a second, because everybody's cutting in and out real bad. Just pause for a second. Yep. So wait for this question.
Yo, look, it's in sound waves. I'm gonna kill Claw, right? I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. See, this is what Hardaway gets. I don't know what he did to make him mad, dude. I don't, Stokes. Right? But he did something to make Claw mad. Right? Did Claw stop messing with the dang freaking... I'm having to edit myself for this show.
No, me and Claw had a rap battle and I won. You didn't like that.
I bet. You should have been able to take him since you're a Zalian. I'd have been highly disappointed if you couldn't, Hardaway, for real. But we good?
His bars were weak, bro.
Good, man. They would be, but whatever. Yeah. So, back to that, man. What really drew you to the X-Men? You know what I mean? As a child.
As a kid, probably the same. Well, I can only speak for me. I'm a young black man. I was a young black man. Well, I'm not a young black man anymore. But I was a young black man then. Same thing, you know. It's a metaphor for racism, for sexism, for for everything, for
people
every
just being
minority.
a-holes.
Yeah, it's for every minority that has ever felt oppressed. X-Men was that thing. By the way, that was a hard answer because it's really hard for me to remember what my favorite book was at the time. But I have a lot of X-Men books, so I went with that. But yeah, and I like certain characters. I'm a big Cyclops guy. I was a Cyclops guy way before it was cool. Everybody trying to make it cool now. No, no, no.
That's so funny
I was
because
a Cyclops guy when in the '80s
correct me if
when
I'm
I was
wrong. Wasn't
8,
that Ariel
9, 10 years
Mandel's
old.
answer, Hardaway?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes.
what I thought. That's sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Stokes, but literally on the last episode,
No,
that was
you
Ariel
good.
Mandel's
That
answer.
one,
Or that was Ariel Mandel's answer.
he got me. I
Why do you
got
keep
hit.
getting got by Claw?
Dude, he hit me in the leg, bro. I'm bleeding.
What so oh man, I swear Claw is annoying me today, Hardaway. Why did you have to run from him? You should have just smacked him in the face.
Well, you see, the thing is that I took his thing.
You took his cannon? That's kind of funny because it is made of vibranium, but that's besides the point.
Well, I didn't just take his cannon,
Good.
bro. I took his notebook with his weak ass bar. I'm sorry, bars.
Man, it ain't gotta be that. I said PG-13, not G. She's a like. What are we doing here? We could throw even one shit in. You know what I mean? There could be one f-bomb. There's rules. You know.
There's rules.
Right.
But no,
There's
I
rules
do
in
got a
everything.
question though, because I understand.
I,
I got some serious questions. All right, I got a few. So,
Okay.
all right. So you like? What about Cyclops? Did you like? I mean, do you like? Not did, because since Cyclops is your favorite mutant. X-Men, not your favorite mutant, your
Um,
favorite X-Men.
I was a big leader guy as a kid. Like whoever the leader was, I liked him. Leonardo, Captain America, everybody. Whatever the team was. If it was a leader, if they had a leader, I liked them. If they had a black guy, I liked them. That was pretty much how I rolled back then. So, Cyclops was that dude, but he always had that dude moments in the books. He always had that dude moments. And he was militant way before folks was talking like what they talk about him now. Cyclops been militant, but I know a lot of people's memory of Cyclops is kind of colored by the cartoon and how the cartoon portrayed him, and in the movie too. The movies
yeah.
butchered Cyclops. Oh my gosh! Part of the reason why I don't really rock with them. Um, but yeah, man, I like Cyclops. I've always liked characters that are in positions of leadership.
See, I love that you say that too, because like we were talking about Superman earlier, and I think Cap is the obvious opposite of Marvel. And look, I love Cap, but I think I love Cap because he has that moral code. But at the same time, if Superman showed up, he would die. Like it's not even a fight. There's no way Captain America wins in a fight against Superman unless he calls in all the Avengers. Like I think I like
See,
the fact that he was.
I don't really think about stuff like that anymore. I
I don't know,
used
man.
to.
I guess it was just like I don't know. I guess
I
it's just to
know,
me
I know. I
looking at
used to.
the.
I used to be in the who's gonna win what fight.
Oh, see, I don't care who's going to win what fight because I'm a firm believer in what Stan Lee said. It all depends on who the writer is.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
kind of
Anybody
when
can
I
win any
started
fight.
making books.
Yeah.
When I started making books, I kind of phased out of that conversation.
Oh yeah, and I'm a firm believer in that, man. But I just mean I just made that comparison
Excuse me.
just strictly because of the power levels. Like Cap is very much
Right.
someone that like well Amadeus from The Watchmen, who's just achieved a perfect human form. That's ostensibly what Captain
Great
America
book.
is. He's
Great
a
book.
he's a human being as great of a level as you can get, which
Yep.
just makes him. But at the same time, the dude's still human, and he keeps
Right.
that morality. There's just something about that I guess hit more
There
home
ain't
for me
nothing
as opposed to
human about
Superman.
jumping out of no plane with no parachute and landing safely. There is nothing human about that. bro. A
Hey, that,
human,
Okay,
even in
okay,
hey,
top physical
he's part.
condition.
well, I don't know if you watched that last Batman movie. Ain't no way like a normal man going
I
through
watched
through
uh,
the
that. I
canyons of the Gotham
uh,
City and then hit a light head on and then
and
hit
then
the
a
truck
bridge,
and then
and
a
then a bridge,
bridge.
and then a truck, and yeah,
Yeah,
I loved
no,
that
no,
moment. But he
no.
should be dead.
He
I
should be
agree.
dead.
Like death, man. You don't like. I don't care how. Like at Captain America, I'm pretty sure I would have killed him. In all honesty, the way that
all
I
right, but
love that moment. I love that you brought up that moment. So that moment
no,
had me
I'm just
cracking up
saying.
so
I
hard.
mean,
I have not seen
that's where
that. And
suspension of belief comes from.
hey,
True.
I I guess I call that plot protection. But another question I have, and this doesn't have to do with the X-Men, though she has had many run-ins with the X-Men. Is your least favorite character just so happens to be my favorite Marvel character?
What, Squirrel Girl?
Yeah.
I just
Squ-
don't see. Hey, listen. If you like her, great. I just don't see the appeal. That's
Hey,
just
no,
not for me. Like,
I saw that and I was just like, I was curious as to like, what about her makes her I get she's a joke character and she's goofy, all right, but she does have some really remarkable feats on panel, not just off panel. Because trust me, she has some like outstanding feats off panel, but even on panel, she has whooped Wolverine like bad. Wasn't even a fight.
You look offended by that, Stokes. I love it,
I'm
man.
not. I'm not offended.
Like
I'm not.
you were just like, this is.
I think
You got
Squirrel
him like,
Girl.
dude, where's my car?
I
Oh no!
I hate that movie so
I
much.
All
I hate that movie. I was forced to
right.
watch that movie.
oh man, I think I've seen that movie once in my life, so I'm right there with you. I don't even think I know the title. That's about it. And I'm sure they
If I
said
was
it a few
if I
times.
was if I was driving that night, I would have walked out. But I wasn't driving.
Oh, that's phenomenal. But so you hate that film? Why you not like Skullgirl, man?
It's not that I don't anything Squirrel Girl. Like she's just like nothing. Like to me, it just to me, I feel like it's a joke that somebody made and they're just running with it. And then at some point, somebody took it serious and they tried to make it serious. And I'm like, so we're really doing this? We're really making Squirrel Girl like serious. Like they almost made a TV show about it. So I'm like,
Yeah, and there
I
was
feel the same
actually.
way. I feel the same way about Harlequin. Like I just like I'm not the target audience for that character, and I'm okay with that. Like if you love
No,
it, I'm not going to trash them. I'm not going to trash the character. I've stopped doing. I used to do a lot of that 10, 15 years ago. I would be like, ah,
eh,
she's
Real
trash.
quick on that note, I just got to say, if you like Superman, you can like Superman. I just don't like the motherfucker. But like, I
That's
I
fine with
agree with
me.
you. I agree with you in that, man. Because I used to definitely be more like that musically as a musician. But then the farther I got into it, I'm like, why just listen to whatever you want to? You know,
I
hmm
feel
I
that way
get that. I
about
think that's a very
everything.
positive way to be.
Yeah, I mean, not every. Well, the way I figure, the way I approach things is not every book is made for me in mind. So yes, there's a million Harlequin books out. That's fine. I don't need to buy it, but if somebody else wants to buy it, hey, go buy that Harlequin book, man. Buy that Squirrel Girl book, man. Buy that whatever book. Like,
That yeah, see that relates to kind of what was on episode 2, which is actually episode 1. But whatever, don't worry about episode 1. It's not there. This is the questionnaire, and I am the unknown factor. Um, where Matt Hawkins was talking about the MCU and how much they've expanded it, and bringing in like Miss Marvel, and he's like, that's not really a show for me. But his daughter, um, who is I think that's Indian. No, Pax is I partial. Yeah, like or cousin or something. Man, we did that interview way too long ago. It already should have been released. I'm not even gonna lie. Um, I'm calling myself out because it's what I do.
it's all right.
Um, sorry, Matt. I promise you, we got your back, bro. It's if you're watching this, it's happened. Um, but as far as in how they've done that and where they're involved in the MCU, to where it's necessarily like there's a lot there. It's not for everyone, and I think that's good, and I think that's something that the comic book industry has always done well. You know what I mean? That brings me to like the fact that your favorite character as a teen was Spider-Man 2099. That blew my mind, right? That blew my mind because that's the whole 2099 thing, man. When they did that, I remember it not going over real well. You know what I mean?
That's not true.
Really?
It was very successful. Yeah, it was one of
Initially?
the top. Yes, yes.
Well,
I
only
remember that.
okay. Let me for like
Remember,
a
they
year,
started with
for
4
like a year,
titles.
wasn't it?
No,
Yeah,
they started with 4 titles. They had
X-Men,
Spider-Man, Ravage.
Spider-Man, Ravage, and
Not X-Men. It wasn't X-Men yet. It was Spider-Man,
X-Men.
Doom, Ravage, and Punisher.
Yeah, Punisher was one of the first ones. Yeah.
And then they came in with X-Men, Ghost Rider, 2099 Unlimited, Hulk
I guess maybe
2099.
okay. Well, maybe it's just because it's funny too because most of the comics you just listed, I at one point at least had. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I've
I
read them
got
all.
most of them.
And I guess it's just the fact of I don't know. Maybe I didn't get into that storyline as much. Maybe there's something I missed storyline.
I was
Maybe
there
it's
from
something I need to
ground zero.
reread. You know what I mean?
I think
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2099 is a gem of a storyline. I have them somewhere in my house. Every issue of Spider-Man 2099, the original series. I just started getting a trade, so I don't have to go back and open them. But that was Peter David, great art to begin with by Rick Leonardi, Joe St. Pierre too. He was on there. A few people. Ron Lim did some stuff for him. But honestly, I've said this. I say this all the time. If you read Spider-Man 2099 and then you go watch Batman Beyond, you're gonna some of that stuff is gonna
realize you're gonna realize it's stolen.
I'm not gonna say stolen. I'm gonna say very influenced.
Well, I mean, but let's be honest. Between those two companies, how many times have they done that to Darkseid, Thanos, Deadpool, or Slade, Wade?
Hey, I'm okay with it. I saw it immediately.
Hey, look, the only thing I want is a crossover between the two characters. That's what I personally want.
Yeah, you won't get that anymore with where those companies stand. From what I understand, they're done doing that. But
yeah, they don't do that much anymore.
Yeah, they really don't. It's kind of sad.
I said that's what I want. I didn't say it was gonna happen. I just said, I could dream, man. I could dream like everybody else and make wishes.
My bad. I didn't mean to kill your dream, Hardaway. My bad, man.
Because Batman Beyond.
Right, I think you're very much right. Yeah, you're good. But as far as I don't particularly care either. I think one of the greatest examples of showing that there's no problem in doing that. Oh, did you finally get away and you're gonna be chill?
I seem I have a reprieve right now. The thing is I gotta get gas to keep going.
All right, well, Hardaway's going to take a quick break and walk away while I continue this conversation with Stokes while he can get some gas, man, because, sometimes you got to get some gas, which you can do. He's still running, and apparently he got far enough away to get some gas. All right, but Stokes, what I want to know, like I said, I think the greatest example of that is Deadpool kills everything. You know what I mean? And I don't know if have you read that book?
What, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe?
No, Deadpool kills everything. It's where he literally goes feedback. I do too, Hardaway. What's up with that? Hardaway, why I got terrible feedback?
Oh, I don't know. It should take long. I'm sorry. Hold on.
All right, yo, am I good? No.
No.
What did you do?
Well, we both got feedback. Hardaway, what did you do?
Nothing. What about now?
Okay, now I can't hear Hardaway.
Okay.
Now. Man, look. So what, Hardaway just had to get attacked by Claw again? Go, just turn your mic off and go get your gas, all right? Deal with your Claw attack. She's a freaking Pete. I swear on my life. I'm sick of this dude popping in the podcast, Stokes, messing my clips, all right?
That's all right. We power through. We gonna power
Oh
through.
yeah, man. I don't know if you know it or not. I got that kryptonite. I don't care who you are. I got all kinds of kryptonite. You know what I mean? Like on that Batman, screwy. Like I did screwy things. But that comic is ostensibly about Deadpool going and like killing Captain Ahab and it kills Namor, killing I don't remember the pirates. They're like he goes and kills classic literary characters, showing that they're all. I mean, it's just all inspiration from something. You know what I mean? Like, if you literally went back and you killed Sherlock Holmes, it took out. It wasn't Batman. I don't remember who it was in the DC universe. It might have been Batman, actually, because how they let Deadpool cross a lot of lines. I don't know why they let him cross so many lines. I love that they do. But it just shows that everything is inspiration. So I'm curious, man, with your character, who do you think you were inspired most by personally to create that character? Or is it a combination? If so, what's that combo?
In all honesty, probably Milestone. The Milestone books. They really were way back were my inspiration to show me that I can actually do this. You know, like even when I was a teenager, 15, 16, whatever age I was when the books came out, I can't even remember the age. When Milestone came out, I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. And so Static was definitely first and foremost in my mind.
Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't that created by Stan Lee?
Static? No. Static.
No, I'm thinking of. My bad. I'm thinking of an animated series he did. No, like Stan Lee, like he did an animated series or something of a character that had a close name. If memory serves me proper, I might be wrong. Y'all can call me out, but I know this.
That I know. But yeah, like Static was the seed for it, and then I'm a big fan of Invincible, so that kind of helped me push it even further. But I always tell people, excuse me, that Heat is a combination of a little bit of Spider-Man, Green Lantern, and Black Panther. Just take them, put them all together. There you go.
A combo made my head hurt. Just so you know,
made mine too.
I mean, I can believe it. What was it like, man? I mean, just like, because that was your first experience really writing comics at all, right? I mean, you've done the books, the art.
No, I did a comic book.
I asked you that question, and then you said that all you did was art on a thing and graphic, man. I didn't
No, I did whatever. He was my first success. I did one book before Heat, which was terrible. It was awful. It was very poorly drawn. Actually, it wasn't badly written, but it was not at the level that I am right now.
So I'm curious then, if you say it wasn't badly written, do you ever think about going back to that and kind of trying to reach
I'm absolutely, I'm going back to it.
Okay.
I don't know where it is. I have no idea where it is. I don't have a copy of it. I don't have a copy of it.
Oh, that's phenomenal, man. So then
I walked around and passed it around at a Comic-Con, and people looked at me like I was crazy.
I get that, man. I've done that with CDs, and people look at you like crazy. Whatever, be crazy. That's how you. If you ain't gonna grind and promote yourself, you're never gonna make it. So what was different as far as from that, and then with Heat creating it, man? And was it a different process for you as far as what you went through?
I kind of took what I learned from the first time. Because I did the book, and then I went back to school. Finished up school and took everything I learned this time around from school, and then did Heat. And I took it seriously. I don't think I took it that seriously the first time around. Like I thought I know how to draw, I know how to write, you know, come give me my jobs. Like I probably was way more cocky than I should have been. In retrospect, I didn't earn any of it. But this time around, this time around, I respected the game. I respected the craft, and actually took my time and learned about everything, about the coloring process, everything. And even now, like I can't even look at the first Heat book. It's because I'm so much better in my mind. I'm so much better than I was, even though many people will still pick up the first book and be like, "This is really good," and I appreciate it. But I look at what I'm doing now, and I'm like, man, like I'm so much better than there. But I have to learn that they're looking at something that I've looked at hundreds of times through fresh eyes.
Yeah, I get that. I get that, man. And can I say, if you want to pick up that or any of other comic books, we got a link right there in the comments. As far as if you want, the other ones I'm not so sure about. I got to
VisuallyStoked.com. That's dope.
Yeah, visuallystoked.com. It's really actually easy to remember too. Um, but I'm curious. It's funny how much I relate to that, man. Because I like my first tracks. Dude, there's some of them I'm straight like they'll never see the light of day. There's some of them that I put out, and I people are like, "Hey, that's really dope," and I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." And you can Hardaway, you know exactly where you can see it, don't you? I'm gonna tell Claw to come up and blow your car up, shaking your head. Some
You
people
gotta
might
you
Hey,
gotta
uh,
roll your
hey, no,
window up,
no,
bro.
bro. You know
yeah,
darn
roll your window
well.
up, Hardaway.
You gotta roll your window up, bro.
Sorry. You know, y'all know darn. Not y'all. You know darn well that when I first started, some of my songs I thought were some of the best things I've ever seen. I was like, man, I'm gonna kill the game. with This, they're trash. They're straight trash. Every last one of
I mean, that's
them.
and it's fine. Like I try to tell people now, like a lot of people come up to me and ask me for advice on how to get into comics, which I think is funny because I literally just did it. Nobody, I didn't ask anybody for advice or how do I get into the industry. I sat down at my kitchen table and I drew uh, uh, the first issue of Heat.
And can I
Um,
say real quick? It's funny that you say that because on episode 2 with Matt Hawkins, if you all checked it out, if not, I highly recommend you do. It's a hell of an interview, hell of a guy. The thing he said, as far as if you want to get into the comic industry, was to do exactly what you did. That's what
yeah,
he said is the easiest way in, or at least
All right,
right.
nowadays.
all right, but unknown. I want to hear his story. You
Well, I
interrupted it.
know.
Shush,
I just wanted to
shush,
let him know
shush.
that Matt Hawkins literally agreed with what he did. I thought he'd think
But
like,
I
and
want to hear
everybody
what he
else.
got to say though.
I'm trying to promo our past episodes, man. Would you just let me do it, and then he'll finish his story? I'm gonna tell Claw to blow you up, dude. I really am. So go ahead.
No, it's yeah. I've told this story so many times. I got engaged to my now wife at the time, and I was sitting in my apartment, and I said, if I'm gonna do this comic book thing, I got to do it now because once I become a husband and
What the
can
heck just happened?
snowball real quick, and I could not have yeah. So yeah, I didn't have a drawing table. I didn't have any of the fancy drawing table. I had like leftover paper, comic book paper from the last failed book. And I just sat down and I had the script already written. I had the script written for years, actually.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'd had Heat sitting in my computer for years, and I just started doing it. And then once I finished it, um, I tried to Kickstarter it, and I didn't know anything about Kickstarter. All I knew was it was funding. So I put like my goal was like $8,000, and that tanked so bad. It tanked really bad. And so I stepped back. I said, okay, let me figure this out. And then I came back, and then I did another Kickstarter. I learned a little bit first, and then did it for like $2,000. And then it got, it went through, and people got their books, and you know, it gained a little bit of steam. And then I was originally going to do an ongoing series, but because I do everything, I didn't realize how much of a toll it was going to take on me. Like every time I finished a book, I needed a break. Like it was that strenuous. And so I did like I did issue 2 and 3. I didn't Kickstarter those. I paid for those out of pocket. Um, and then that's when I did my first con when I had 3 issues, and it just sold like crazy. Like I don't even. I had like 100 copies of each, I think, and I think I came home with like single digits.
Hell yeah. That's what's
Yeah,
up.
it
Can I
was
ask where'd
it
you do
was
that con at?
Terrificon here in Connecticut.
How was that? Like, how was your first con experience?
I was always expecting, and I talked to a few artists, and they always say, when you first start out, you don't do as well, or they'll tell me I didn't do that well or whatever. And I was doing my con, and I was doing stuff like, so I shared a table with somebody. So thank God for Travis Holyfield, appreciate you. So I was able to split the the cost of the table. But I was like, let me think of some things to do. So I had a couple of my friends, very attractive young ladies, wear T-shirts with my character on it, and basically I told them, go get people and bring them to the table.
Oh,
And
you con man.
I did. I killed it.
Yeah, con.
I
That
killed it.
is the at a Comic Con. You just gonna send out, hey yo, you hot chick, go bring
Hey,
back these
that's
dudes.
how I,
That's
that's how I, yeah, Jim Starlin. That's how I got cool with Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin wanted to take a picture with the ladies. He took a picture with them, and then we were having dinner after the con. We were having dinner, all of us, my team, and he saw us, and I guess he was waiting for his group, and he asked if he could sit with us, and while he waits for his group, and we just rap and talk and everything. Ever since, he's been really cool with me.
can I say that I'm glad that your second book didn't go over like the Steel movie, which I just want to say, since this is a film that you say lived up to the comic the least. Like
I've never watched it.
you've never watched it even.
No,
You
why would I
just
do
from
that?
the previews, you're like, no, that's terrible.
Yeah. When I saw the outfit, I was like, nah, I'm good. Actually, that's not true. And no disrespect to Shaq, but when I
I would
saw it with
hope
Shaq,
not. He will stomp us all. Please don't
hey, listen,
disrespect
man, I
Shaq.
love Shaq, man. Shaq, man, I love you, bro. But Steel wasn't good.
That
He
was like
knows
his
Steel
first
wasn't
Hollywood
good.
endeavor, if memory serves
I
me
know, like I
proper. Like,
read an art.
okay.
I just read an article about how like how troubled the set was, how they
Mm.
were, they were cutting budget and everything. Like if you read the article, you're like, yeah, I can understand why this didn't turn out great.
I didn't hate the movie though, so
I mean, hey, listen, I still refuse. There are two
Uh,
movies that I refuse to watch. And the reason is because I love Steel. I love
I
Steel,
understand.
and I just can't. I can't get my heart broken like that.
That's why I
well, then I
won't watch
guess
Dragon Ball Evolution. I refuse. I can't.
that's.
I
I
don't want
can't
to
I've
do it.
either.
seen the I've seen them both. They're both pretty terrible, and that's all I'll say in my
Oh
opinion. As
God.
far as films, they're not. They're not. Neither of them are good in any way, shape, or form. What I
Yeah,
say, but
I
I
have
do
better
love
things I
what
can
you're.
do.
Yeah. I do love what your answer for as far as favorite man, as far as the Infinity and Endgame. Now, why? I'm curious, man. I honestly, that's the answer I never expected to get. I never expected on the questionnaire for the pre-show to get even though they're phenomenal films. I mean, they were obviously done phenomenally. It's years, a decade of character building and everything. It's just not something I ever really expected, man. Why do you think those two specifically, for you, anyways? Because obviously, that's a maker watcher's choice.
I would say because they are the two that feel most like comic book movies, like comics to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they feel like like a massive crossover. Like there's a big feel, and obviously, listen, both of them, both of them have like tremendous moments, like top five moments in comic book history.
Very
Um,
true.
they're just a joy. It's like watching something, knowing that the people involved respect where it came from and are enjoying making the movie.
Do you think they'll achieve more than what they've done in those two films with what they planned? Like, do you think they'll continue to excel, or do you think the MCU's getting to a point where it's gonna be difficult? You know what I mean? Or do you think they're gonna be able to just look, hey, these are comics in film form, and that's just what it is?
I think what Marvel is doing right now is that they are diversifying and experimenting. Um, because if you look at the last phase, the last few movies, starting from uh, Black Widow, Multiverse of Madness, Eternals, like whatever your mileage on them, whether you like them or you don't, they're none of them are the same. That whole Marvel as a formula, they seemingly have kicked that out you know, the window, and they're letting directors do things that they probably wouldn't have allowed them to do three phases ago. So
Very true.
I think I think the we as an audience have to change the way we think about Marvel movies, in that this Marvel movie might not be for you, and that's okay. Once again, it's okay if this movie is not for you. Like there are a lot of people who dislike Love and Thunder. I didn't dislike it. I was entertained. Oh, it was entertaining. I mean, it's not. I didn't go in there looking for Oscars. Like it's an entertaining movie. Eternals was hit or miss.
I think it
Um,
was all right. It definitely had some high points, but it had some low points.
yeah,
Love and Thunder, I unfortunately haven't seen yet.
but I'll say this: I have yet to watch a Marvel movie that I wasn't at least entertained by. Like whether you think it's the greatest of all time or what.
Oh, oh, JaVon. Then I gotta ask: does the same go for DC?
Um,
He's like, I don't want to answer that question. Can we move on?
I'm
Why did
trying
you
not to
have to
burn
ask
no
that?
bridge.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and move on, and I'll just say I really hope that they can take.
I think DC, they need somebody. They need a Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige respects the source material while also understanding the need to be creative with it at the same time. I think they're very impatient at DC, um, from the film point of view. They're very
Yeah, yeah,
impatient.
yeah, yeah.
They they want the success from Marvel, but they don't want to take the time to get there.
And they started way later for some reason, thinking they could catch up in like 3 years, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
well, I know why. It's very clear. Like
Well,
they they they
money.
once they did Man of Steel, and then when Avengers came out, they literally changed course, and
Where's
they
our
did
Justice League?
Batman.
Way
Yeah,
too
they did
quickly built.
Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman was literally a response to the success of the Avengers. So, but I just think and they also need to realize that they have a lot of great characters that aren't Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, and they
That's
need to
what
give them a chance.
Do you think that they're doing that more now, just out of curiosity? Like as
I
far
don't
as
know,
because I
but
mean,
you guys can hire me. I mean, hey, DC, if you're watching, I would love to do. I'll do that job in a heartbeat.
honestly,
I'll be your
I mean,
Kevin Feige.
if you respect, I mean, you obviously respect the comic book industry. I mean, that's what they need. I don't understand why they can't foresee that. It'd be like you taking your first book that you said was garbage and being like, oh well, he did well, so I'm just gonna republish this and continue it, and I'm not gonna work on
Well,
making
I
it
heard.
better at all. I'm just gonna, it
Well,
kind
but
of
I
be
heard
backwards.
Shazam was good though.
What, the first one?
The Shazam movie. I
I,
heard
I
that was
thought it
good.
was. I thought it was
I enjoyed
entertaining.
it.
It
Yeah,
was entertaining.
yeah. Was it again a high quality film? No, I don't. The
It was
films
okay.
that DC has made that are high quality films, in my opinion, are not in their universe. It's like the Joker.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I mean?
Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman was good up until the end.
I, it. I guess. Yeah. Look, the second Wonder Woman killed that for me. I'm sorry. 1984 is
Yeah, that.
literally, and I'm sorry to say this. If this causes to where I can't get somebody on, I apologize. But whatever, I will state my opinion. That's one of the worst films I think I've ever seen in my life.
I'm just gonna say I wasn't entertained.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
I mean,
very positive. That's a very nice way to say it.
I wasn't
yeah.
entertained.
I
Uh,
was in no way, shape, or form entertained by that film.
there
But
were there were some
let's
good
get
things. There's some bad things.
Wonder Woman's
let's
my
get back
least
to
favorite female character.
Like Wonder Woman, she's okay.
She's just my least. The psychology behind her is what I don't like. Her
Fair enough.
history, her history is dope. All right, but here's the thing: Wonder Woman, if you bind her hands, she loses all her powers.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
I know, which is, but I'm just saying, like her original concept was trash, and then the whole idea about an invisible plane but she can fly, that made no sense. That made zero sense to me.
If you read a lot of the books in the 50s and the 60s, you're gonna come
though.
across a lot of stuff that don't make no damn sense.
That is definitely true. Like the farther you go back in the comic book industry, and I think that applies to both Marvel and DC. It applies to both the big ones. There's just a lot of stuff that's like, well, that was weird, but
I mean, these guys
okay.
are getting paid next to nothing to make these books, and they were mostly for kids, so they were just
Now,
throwing stuff
now
against the wall.
what do you think about that, JaVon? As far as like, if you look at the industry, and this is a conversation we had with Hawkins. I wish I'd have gotten into it with Errol, but if you look at it, it seems the comic book industry as a whole doesn't focus so much on kids anymore. You know what I mean? I remember when I was young reading, and I'm 38, so when I was like 15, there were a lot of books that were specifically aimed at younger kids. But it seems nowadays that, especially when you're putting out most of the bigger stuff, it's aimed at people more around, in their 30s that know these characters. It doesn't seem to be aimed so much at newer people.
I think both companies are making efforts to reach out to kids, but well, I think well, number one, the highest selling comic book in the last like year and a half was Dog Man, and that's for kids. So let's just keep it a
Okay.
buck. Like
Okay.
kids are buying comics,
Good.
they're not necessarily always buying, the Marvel stuff.
Well,
But
I don't. Hey, as long as they read, like you said, man, I think comics are something that fundamentally help children just to expand their vocabulary. Period.
you also have to understand that it's a different age. Like when I was growing up, there's no iPhone. There's no you know DVR or on demand or none of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the
All the streaming
competition,
and
the
yeah, yeah.
competition for attention was a lot lower than it is now.
There was no
Like
TikTok.
no TikTok, no
Ugh.
Facebook, no Instagram. So yeah, like kids are gonna read this or whatever. Like you could throw a comic book at a 10-year-old and oh yeah, great, but it's just different. Even I've seen it even at cons. Like You know, like it's not. I'm trying to think how often little kids, like some little kids buy my book. You know, like some little kids buy my book, and I'm okay with it. I'm cool with it. I love it. Keep doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's generally not as much. Like I know people buy my book for other people too. So it's just a different world, man. You just gotta adjust as much as you can. Just, figure out how
Well,
you can get them in.
then let's flip to that, man. On it being a different world, what do you think as far as how the industry has changed? And I mean, me and Hardaway feel this hard as musicians. I'll be honest. From it going from a physical to more a digital medium. You know what I mean? And especially you see a lot of that in the comic book. And is that something that you? I mean, because everything I seen on your site was to buy physical copies, right? Like, is
Yeah,
there a reason you don't sell digital copies on OneNote? And like, what's your opinion of the fact of how that shifted the industry?
I'm always a little leery of doing digital because I know there's so much pirating. Um,
Ah,
but I personally still like the feel of the comic book, having it in my hand. I know a lot of people who don't, but I
no,
do. I
man.
like,
I get it. I get it.
yeah.
I've so if like and Hardaway's sitting over there giggling because he'll read crap off his phone all the time. But no, man,
But but
I
but
so
but
need a
but that's
physical.
okay. Like if people like it, like
Yeah,
whatever, however we get to get people to read the book, I will. You know.
Yeah,
so
I
in
For
that case,
me,
man,
I haven't done it. I haven't done it. Like I tried to do it through
excuse me.
Comixology, but Comixology is the process is so freaking labor intensive just to get the book in, and then
Uh,
they got to verify it, and it just took so long. Like every time, like I said, I do all my work, so if I have to stop doing my work to do that, that means that
mm,
work's not getting done. So that's why I haven't jumped to do digital sales on a book because it just takes too long to do comics out. I might try another platform if it's less invasive, but I
um
have to I have to
I,
maximize my time.
I would
yeah,
say webtoons is the way to go.
Okay,
Um because yeah, you do you watch Netflix?
I do.
All right, have you ever seen Sweet Home?
I've heard of it.
All right, that's a webtoon.
Okay, yeah, I know that book. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I love that Hardaway has so much information that he can literally recommend a platform for you to use on it because that tells you how much he reads digital comics, which I think is like you say. I mean, read how you want to read. I just personally can't. Like,
yeah,
I need
the
the physical. That's just how I am, you
I
know.
just
But yeah.
I like
Anyway,
the idea of having no overhead.
Yeah, I got you.
That's the main reason why when it comes to music even I like digital more so than hard copies. It's not that I dislike hard copies, but most of the time when people hand me a hard copy, I never open it. It's a collector's item to me at this moment in time. So
But I would
so
say for me though, I
now mind you, I have comics. I have over 400, and there's definitely issues that I'll sit there and I want to read, and it wouldn't be the same if I was looking at it digitally. But
right.
the thing is that I also understand when it comes to optimizing your profits and um if you want to go green and save the world, da 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 da. Like there's 101 reasons that uh people can say digital is better.
well,
But that's only
to
for
that
your
end,
pocket. That is not necessary,
oh look,
and but not for your like soul. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no difference than hold like you guys. There's no difference between holding it there's not no similarity. That's it. It's not the same as holding the comic versus I'm sitting there scrolling or clicking on a panel and it pops up and I read it and whatnot. Now, I will say this though, with digital comics, on the other hand, you can do more. What I
well,
mean by
real quick though, I want to ask Stokes just based on what Hardaway's saying. Do when you're doing the art, you said you do it on page, right? You don't do it digitally.
Yeah, I draw on paper and then I scan it and then Photoshop.
Oh, okay. Can I say that the fact that you do 3D and that you don't do that all just on a computer, you scan it is that's very
So I do
yeah, I wouldn't that's surprising.
I do prints. Like when I do prints of characters, like I do those
Ah,
digitally.
okay.
Um, but I still haven't figured out how to draw a comic book page digitally. It's a skill. Like, and once again, I'm always moving. So if I need to learn how to be digital, that means I have to stop what I'm doing and then
Ah.
learn how to do this, and then but then nothing gets done.
So what you're saying is you can't pull a Nightwing and a Dick Grayson at the same time.
Very true.
All
Yes.
right. See, that's just you got to figure that out. Apparently, Stokes.
Right.
That's what you got to
And
figure.
I will. I am. I'm just gonna have to do it incrementally, but it's just right now, like, heat number one, and I got strong number zero out, and I'm like halfway through heat number two, and I'm trying to get that done, because next year I'm trying to do a lot more Comic Cons,
And just to
and
clarify for everyone, this is from the ongoing series that you just
the
started. There are
new
two graphic
ongoing
novels.
series.
Yeah,
Yep,
there
yep,
are two
yep,
graphic novels that are from Heath that you can grab off
yep,
visuallystoked.com.
yep.
Um,
Heat number
I'm
one is
curious though,
on
man.
there too.
Yeah, you're saying about cons. How many cons have you done at this point?
Uh, 6 or 7.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to count. It's enough that it took your
I was
brain a
just trying
moment,
it
and
off
that's
the top
all.
of my head. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
remember.
fine. Now, I'm curious. Out of all those cons you've done, man, what one stands out the most? Like, is there a convention that stands out the most? And are there any moments that are like, whoa?
Convention. Well, I did Dragon Con in Atlanta,
Ah,
and that was insane. Um, it was like a marathon. It was
ooh,
stressful in a good way. But you're talking about 4 or 5 days of Comic Con. Um, a couple of those days, I was at my table by myself, um, and I almost sold out at that con too. By the way, it was insane.
nice,
Like, that one. But moments. Well, when I met George Perez at Dragon Con.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw him, and it was before everything had opened up. He was walking to his table, and I literally sprinted over there, and I had my book with him, and I was with me, and I was like, "Yeah, I just want to give you my book. Like, thank you for everything you've done." I didn't ask him for a signature. I was like, and then his wife was like, "Do you want a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah." So, and I cherish that picture.
Man, I just gotta say, I've got a similar story with Stan Lee when I was 15 at Wizard World. I was standing in line for Todd McFarlane. My dad goes, "Who's that?" I go, "That's Stan Lee." And I take out of a door out of the convention center that I don't even rightly know if I can get back in. Like I just don't care in that moment. So I get the full sprint. Like, no, this is a moment that I literally don't know if I'll ever have again. So yeah, I'm gonna take it. And he's got his agent telling him to come on. He told his agent to take the picture with me,
There
and
you
I
go.
thought that was so cool. And it made me show like, oh, that's the kind of mentality you want to have towards your
Yeah,
fans.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Is when your agent's like, no, we got to go. No, you see this kid? This kid is a huge fan. Obviously, I'm going to take a picture with him, and that
yep,
that he gains so much respect for me in that moment, dude. And it's cool that George and his wife did that for you as
oh yeah,
well.
oh yeah.
That's
Always
just dope.
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, that's dope. Yeah, that
Thank
is
you.
beyond dope, man. What are you doing, Hardaway?
Showing something I stole from Claw. Don't challenge me. No, so I have a question. I want to know more about Strong. Like,
Okay.
is Strong and Heat in the same universe?
Yes, yes, yes. Strong and Heat are in the same universe. There's
Ooh, so
there's a
universe
little bit
building.
of a backstory. Um, and I'm trying to establish a mythology for the I call it the Stoked verse. That's just all I got.
I'm most people probably get stoked looking at your stuff. So
I appreciate that. But
That is actually
yeah,
a dope name for a universe too.
thank
yeah,
you.
Stokes, like that. Stoked verse.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm down with that.
in the Stoked verse, there's 4 powers that are responsible for all the life in the world, in the universe. Excuse me. There's
Okay, yeah.
yeah, the
I read
Ebon.
that part. Yeah.
Yep. The Ebon, the Essence, the Solid, and the Illumination. Um, and at the Big Bang, that's when these powers, we call them pillars. They're pillars of the universe. They prop up life. They basically just bounce around the entire
I
universe,
I
mixing
don't
and creating universe.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but can I say you read the Flash much?
Yes.
Okay, I kind of feel like you're drawing inspiration from it with that.
What, the Speed Force?
Well, no, there were several forces within the comics as well as
Uh,
within the show, but I mean in the
yeah.
comics before.
I had this idea for a lot longer than
Okay, fair enough.
that.
I just had to throw it out there, man.
No,
And I
no,
mean,
no. I hear you.
if
I hear
that's where
you.
you
I know
got it,
what you're
yeah, if
talking
you got
about. No,
inspiration,
no,
yeah,
no.
that's fine. But yeah,
I've had
yeah,
it for
because
a long
Strange.
time.
Okay,
there's all sorts of
yeah, no, that's
similarities to all sorts of
yeah,
things, but
Yeah, I
that is
mean,
very true. But I think that's in comics in general. It's just
yeah.
gonna happen.
So my characters, at least to begin with, are all. It's really following the story of the individuals who get possessed by these powers. Heat is possessed by the illumination, which is all things light, heat, and fire. And strong is possessed by the essence, which is the soul. Um, and so, her story is how she deals with her power. There is a sad twist to her power. I can't tell you.
mhm,
It's you gotta read the book.
yeah,
You got to pick it up
There's
at visuallystoked.com. That's what's up.
visuallystoked.com.
Yeah.
There's a sad twist to her power, so I think that's a big part of the issue. And then actually, you got to see the Ebon in the Black Flame. The Black Flame is the possessor of the Ebon.
mm,
So I'm gonna get around to the Solid, but we focusing on those 3 for now.
I like that as an individual, man, you're literally creating a universe. And again, I love that name, dude. I think you should run with it, but that's just my opinion. But I got to
Appreciate
say,
it.
Stokes, this has been a hell of an interview, man. And I'm pretty sure we covered everything as well as more, as well as like, you're like, this dude's sidetracking a lot. And I'm like, man, he's getting chased by Claw. Don't mind him. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Right.
I,
But it's been a hell of an interview, man. It really has. But before you go, can I just get you to be like, yo, this is JaVon Stokes. And you're listening to the questionnaire,
you're
uh,
watching.
or I know, man. People might be listening. People might be, you know what? I don't care what you say. Say watching, say listening, say check out the questionnaire. I don't rather give a damn because I'm gonna edit all kinds of stuff together because it's what I do. I am the unknown factor. Pick a line, bro. I don't care. But
all
then
right.
make
I
sure
got you.
you bring in your stuff. Like let them
I
know where they can
got you.
check you.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Hey, yo, this is JaVon O. Stokes. You are paying attention, paying strict attention to the questionnaire. Come check me out at visuallystoked.com where you can get all my stuff like Heat and Strong.
That was phenomenal. And like, if you want to check him out right now, just click the link down in the description. If you are on YouTube, it might be on Spotify and Apple. I don't know. I'm going to be figuring that out next week. I know you're like, how are you figuring that out next week? And we're watching this episode right now because I'm the unknown factor, and that's what I do. This has been myself and Jay D Hardaway on the questionnaire, joined by none other than JaVon Stokes. Yeah, from Visually Stoked. Now, if you've enjoyed this interview and you enjoyed JaVon's work, send him some chicken, right? Or give him some like dope black cape, right? But if JaVon for some reason has made you annoyed, send him pink vampires. Have a good night, y'all.